How y'all doing tonight? Yeah, a little while ago tonight, earlier, I attended the Breckenridge County School District Board of Education meeting. They have it every Monday. It's like or second Monday of the month, every month, and you really ought to go to it. If you haven't been to one, you really ought to, just to know, get an idea of what goes on and how the folks that make the decisions about our school districts, what they have to deal with, because a lot of times people, especially when the property tax has to be raised, they'll be like, oh, the school district, they're messing up. Well, the thing is, if you don't go to these school district meetings, you don't know how things work. And one of the things that needs work on, that can't be done at the school district, it has to be done at the state level. Because every year, every second year, every 2 years, the state government, they sit down and write a budget for the state. And a big part of the budget, the biggest part of the budget, is always public education. And what they do is there's this formula, it's called SEEK, right? And the SEEK fund is supposed to make sure that the kids in Breckenridge County get the same opportunity for a good education. The kids in Breckenridge County, where the property tax is a little lower, it's more rural, more agriculture, so they don't have the money to put into schools like school districts in Hardin County. They want to make sure, Hardin County, they got a better, little more industry, they got more commercial property, so they get more money for the school district. And these SEEK funds are supposed to make sure that everywhere in Kentucky, all kids get an opportunity for an excellent education. And the problem is that school districts have, and they're not allowed to talk about it. They're not allowed to say, well, hey, this is why we don't have, this is why our scores aren't the way you want them. And it's because they don't get the funding from the state government, okay? The state government does not increase the SEEK funds the way they should be doing it. And this year in particular, that's a real problem, because this year what happened is the federal government said, well, we're not going to pay money that you normally get, that you count on getting every year, that you write a budget based on the expectation that you're going to get that money. We're not going to give it to you this year. Okay, we're not going to have the Department of Education providing money for special ed or for at-risk minority students. They're not going to get that. We're not going to teach teachers how to reach those kids. You're not going to get that money. And and then there was like that big, beautiful bill where they said, we're not going to give you money for SNAP, which means that all these schools, because here's the thing, if you're a Title I school, you're going to get SNAP money. And all the schools in Breckenridge County are Title I schools. So they're going to get the money for breakfast and lunch for the meals. All the schools in Hardin County are not Title I schools. They don't qualify. They're not poor enough to qualify for that. And so a lot of kids that had lunch, free and reduced lunch last year, aren't going to get it this year because the federal government in the big, beautiful bill did not fund it. And the state legislature, our Republican-led state legislature, they knew that when they sat down to write the budget this year, and they didn't take it into account, right? They didn't say, well, school districts aren't going to get this money from the federal government, so we're going to have to give it to them ourselves, okay? So we're not getting money from the federal government, and the SEEK funds, they did not increase the SEEK funds, and then with inflation, the money they did increase SEEK funds like by less than 1%, and then next year it'll be a little better than that. But they certainly didn't raise it enough to go above inflation. So it's like they give this little bitty lift to SEEK funds, and then inflation takes this big chunk out of it. So everything that they gave us is gone, and then all the money that we're going to get from the federal government is gone, right? And now, here's the deal. School districts still have to pay the bills, right? The school districts still have to pay the bills. So they're either going to have to raise our property tax in order to pay the bills, or they're going to have to cut back on services, things that we need our kids to, that our children need, that our students need. They're not going to get it because school districts can't pay for it now. You know, and this is like, imagine this, it's like a couple are married and they have 3 kids. They get divorced, and then dad every year or every month is supposed to make child support payments, his alimony. Well, and then mom relies on that money. She needs that money to help pay the rent, help buy groceries, help put gas in the car so she can go to work and pay the rest of the bills, right? That's the position that our schools are in now. That husband that was supposed to pay all that child support alimony, he didn't do it, didn't pay it. And we hate that kind of guy. Well, that's what's going on with our state government right now and the federal government. Our school districts rely on that money. They write budgets based on that money. For years and years and years, they've gone this way. And now the federal government, the state government said, we're not going to pay you. And all of a sudden, our school districts are stuck holding the bag. And the problem is here is that when they start looking at, the state government starts looking at, you know, the whole question, especially here in Kentucky, the whole question about public school and private school, and they sit there like, well, our public schools are failing us. Well, they're failing us because you're not, representative, senator, you're not funding us like you're supposed to. That's why our schools are failing. Our school districts, I mean, you know, the teachers are breaking their hearts trying to teach these kids, and you're not giving them what they need. You want steak dinner results, but you're giving them money for a hot dog budget, and that's unacceptable. And folks, when you go out there and start deciding who you're gonna vote for in November, you need to make sure you just think about whether or not the people that you're sending to Frankfort are supporting our public schools, because that's their job. That is the number one thing that they're supposed to do. And if they're not doing it, if they're not supporting our public schools, you need to make sure that you find a candidate that will support public schools. That's me, 10th District. My name is John Whipple. I'm a retired school teacher, and this is Breckenridge County Middle School behind me. And this is the greatest place to work. They have the greatest kids come in here, and they deserve to be supported by a legislature that will provide the money needed for the teachers, for the faculty, that they got gas to put in the buses, they can feed them when they get here, to do everything that they need. And they're not getting it now, and it's because the Republican-led legislature is failing to do it. And voters, when you vote for them, you're letting them get away with it. Don't let them get away with it anymore. Vote for public school friendly candidates. Thank you very much.